So, has Anaheim 1 demonstrated a chink in Jett Lawrence's armor? So, for those of you that are watching this that have most likely watched the race, Jett Lawrence got a 12th in the main event. He had a bad start. He got tussled with Anderson, got stuck by caught up with a tough block, was in dead last, started to work his way up, crashed again, and ended up 12th in the final result. So, instead of simply saying a yes or no, I'm going to explore both sides of this argument because I believe there are those that are saying no, this is simply a one-off. This is not indicative of Jett Lawrence's current form and speed potential. And those that say yes, this does suggest that even though it's one race, that Jett Lawrence does not have that same winning speed advantage over the rest of the field that he did. And they will likely point to the Paris Supercross not going particularly well, and then Australia. Even though those were crashes and mechanicals, it's undeniable that this Anaheim is now the third race in a row where Jett Lawrence has underperformed expectations. So let's get into it and let's explore the yes, it is an indicator of a chink in his armor, and no. So first, let's say the no. Anaheim 1 is notorious for not being an accurate indicator for what is to come the rest of the season. There's lots of tension, lots of intensity. There's been a few months off where everybody is just jonesing to get their race, mix it up. We don't know where everyone's at. So typically people that would, for example, win Anaheim 1, they would often not end up winning the title. Eli Tomac, who is one of the greatest riders of all time, he only managed to win Anaheim once. Ken Roczen, also, as much as I love Ken Roczen, is a rider that has historically performed really well at Anaheim 1 and has unfortunately never gone on to win the title. So the people that are going to say this was a fluke, this was a bad night, Jett Lawrence, he had two crashes and he simply did what is the mature thing to do, not override, not extend yourself in a position where you create a even greater vulnerability for crashing or getting hurt. And he just had a night of discipline where he had to swallow his ego and just get to the finish line, and the best he was able to manage tonight is 12th. So another thing that the announcers were mentioning is that Jett Lawrence might be struggling with his bike, and I believe there is a valid argument that there is simply not enough body of work to look at and to suggest that that is the case. Setup is a finicky thing. What works in this track doesn't work with that track. So it is very valid to suggest that no, this is too small a sample size. We can't assume that the setup on the Honda is a problem. Joe Shimoda won the 250 main event, for example. And again, this was just a fluke, a quirky night where, especially with the start, as we know, it plays such a large role in the outcome, and it was a pretty much as bad as it could be start. Dead last, was working his way up through the pack, would likely have made his way up to probably around 5th or 4th place, right around where Eli Tomac was able to work his way up to. But yeah, crashed again and decided to do the mature and prudent thing, which is to just settle down, maintain an easy pace, and just get to the finish line. So now on the other side of the argument, the people that are saying no, 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 this is an indicator that Jett does have a chink in the armor, and that chink is the fact he does not quite have that same speed advantage that he enjoyed the past year. Cooper Webb, Ken Roczen looked phenomenal. Chase Sexton looked incredible. Anderson looked really good. Eli Tomac was possibly one of the standout riders, even though he himself crashed and went down when he was leading, went to last, and then slowly worked his way up to 5th, but does not have that same massive top-end speed advantage that he did. And look no further than qualifying. Jett Lawrence is a qualifying phenom. The dude has won qualifying by margins that are just unheard of. He's managed to win it by like over a second. In this Anaheim qualifying session on Saturday, Eli Tomac beat him. In the few riders behind him, I believe Chase got third. They were all within just a hair of his time. In addition to that, you have to bring up the fact that this is now the third consecutive race in which Jett Lawrence has underperformed expectations. There is also a undeniable change in the dynamic of the sport, the fans, and their interaction with Jett Lawrence. And there's some tension, there's some friction. There is definitely a contingent of people that do not particularly like Jett Lawrence. I'm not going to get into the reasons why, but it is undeniable that there is definitely some friction, and there is definitely some people that are very eager to see riders, whether it's Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton, eventually Hayden Deegan, beat Jett Lawrence. And this has been kind of a change for Jett Lawrence. He had and was kind of known for garnering this really strong, loyal fan support, and he still does it, or he still has it, no question about it. But there does seem to have been definitely a change, and there was a little previously. Jett had a very friendly, very copacetic relationship with the fans. They loved him, and again, many people still do. But there's also those people that eagerly cheering for any rider that is able to beat him. Again, I know he's still one of the most popular riders, but there's also a lot of riders and people that want to see him lose, and perhaps that is compounding the pressure and expectations of somebody as young as Jett Lawrence, as successful as he is. There's already a high level of expectations, but now there is a little bit of this rub and a little bit of this friction, and that could be making it more challenging. So anyways, that's a quick update as to what I feel are possibly the most compelling arguments for and against the suggestion that yes, this Anaheim was a indicator that Jett Lawrence is fallible, that he is not, for example, going to go and dominate the season like he did last year. Or there's also the argument that no, people, the announcers included in tonight's Supercross race, they're making too big of a deal out of it, and he is going to do it. So I want to hear your guys' take. What is your opinion? Significant, insignificant? What do you think about Jett Lawrence's speed advantage? Is it still there? Is it as large as it was? So let me know. I love hearing what you guys think, and I hope you enjoyed the video.